Hi, this is Kat,
And Carson.
and today we're going to talk about Smuggler's Moon, one of your first songs, right?
It is one of my first songs. I was about 23 years old when I wrote that, and I don't have any others from what I call back in the day, what we call back in the day. Yeah.
Well, tell us what inspired you to the song and what this is really about, because behind most of the songs there is a really adventurous, exciting story.
Well, at the time, I had met and fallen in love with an outlaw. He was an under-the-radar pot smuggling pilot, and he would fly loads up from Mexico. The old days, it was kilos that of pressed marijuana that had seeds and stems in it, and it was just a lot different than the herb, the Humboldt herb that we enjoy these days. But that's what he was doing, and when he would go on those runs, Kat, I wouldn't know if he was going to be successful and come back home, or if he was going to get busted or plane crashed or any of that. And that not knowing and that longing for information to know what's going on, that's what drove the song.
That sounds nerve-wracking.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was certainly a different lifestyle. I think guys that do that kind of stuff, I think there's some kind of adrenaline they get from, you know, doing those dangerous kind of things or risky.
And he was kind of like that.
I think so. I think he thrived on it.
And so there's actually a movie that is like interwoven, a well-known movie called Blow, that's kind of interwoven with that story. Can you tell us about that?
Well, that Blow, the movie was about Boston George, which my husband gave Boston George his nickname back in the day. And he had all of his friends he gave nicknames. There was One-Eyed Paul, there was Fly Boy, you know, Earl the Pearl, and anyway, they all had nicknames. And there was Boston George, there was River George, Georgia George, Boston George. He knew a lot of Georges, so that's how he kept track of them. Anyway, in the movie, it seems like it was all Boston George that put together the Puerto Vallarta trip, and it wasn't quite the way they show in the movie. I'm not going to get into all of that, but suffice it to say, my husband was the man that flew George's first load of marijuana from Mexico into the States. Yeah, and so my husband always stayed with marijuana, and George in his career, of course, switched over to cocaine. My husband's partner, Ramon, who was featured in that movie, by the way, and they kept his regular name. The other characters, they changed names.
Oh, wow, they kept the name?
Yeah, like the guy that Pee Wee Herman played. That was actually Richard the Barber was the guy for that character. I don't remember what name they had given him. But oh yeah, Tuna. They called a guy Tuna in the movie. Anyway, I can't remember everybody's names in all the movie names. But Ramon didn't. His name was the same.
Yes, and Ramon is was her best friend's husband.
Oh, right. My best friend from high school.
Yeah.
She got with Ramon, who was born in Puerto Vallarta. He was native there. And then I got with my husband, and those guys were partners, and we were best friends from high school. So we were all friends throughout our lives and involved in the marijuana industry in some capacity, back and forth.
Yeah.
So that being said, I hadn't written after that. What happened? When you're with an outlaw, life is sometimes hard to plan and not the normal life that everybody leads. Anyway, I think I just got sidetracked and developed interests other than music. I don't know if I want to get into all of that right now. of why I stopped writing for so many years, that's kind of maybe another story.
That will be another story. And Boston George was played by Johnny Depp in the movie.
Oh, that's right.
I just thought that was interesting, and it's just a really beautiful song, and I thought the story behind the song should be recorded for eternity.
Thanks, Kat.